Good evening to the students of the SLW 646. Karibu sana. Welcome to my class. And today that I am going to deal what are the privileges and immunities of international organization. And I told you the 5 p.m. but later on that we decided the 9:10 p.m. to 10 p.m. Thursday 19-1-2023. Participants, anyone can unmute and read what I posted on the screen if you are hearing me. If not, I will continue it without wasting the time. Yes, Article 2 states that the UN premises shall be inviolable, and the property of the UN shall be immune from the search, requisition, confiscation, and so on. So immunity will be given by the Article 2 of the UN Charter to the premises for inviolable and property of the UN shall be immune. Whatever the property of the UN will be immune from the research, search, requisition, and confiscation. For instance, the UN security people will go to the other country, there would not be any, immigration, nor their checking would be there. That is the immunity given to them. And so on. Article 2 further states that the UN shall be exempted from taxes. They will be exempted from taxes and customs duty with prohibitions and restrictions on imports and exports. Whatever the goods they will get it from the other country to their own respective country or any other place, the customs duty will not say what you brought and how it will be there, because they are the UN people, UN peacekeeping security, and hence they will be exempted from checking all those things. The imports and exports restriction will not be there. The Council of Europe, and when you are dealing about the regional agencies are concerned, and we dealt the earlier 2 or 3, now we are dealing today class the European. The Council of the Europe representatives of members and the Secretariat shall enjoy the territories and its members such privileges and immunities are reasonably necessary for the fulfillment of their function. So the immunities and privileges should be given to them, otherwise they could not work under the pressure. So these immunities shall include the immunity for all representatives to the consultative assemblies from the arrest and all legal proceedings in the territories of all members in respect of words spoken and votes cast in the debates of the assembly or its committee or commissions. So these are the privileges and immunities given to the agency under the charter of the regional agency also, so that they could work without fear anywhere in the world or anywhere in their regional agencies. So that's, I want to make it out very much clear. Because when you see our syllabus here, Advanced International Disputes Settlement Law, that is the SLW 646, and we are at this juncture which I highlighted here. Jurisdictions and privileges and immunities of the international dispute settlement systems, especially the regional levels. How it can be done. So, in this connection that I would like to deal today, the European organization, and the same organization will take care of the human rights also. And now let us throw light on it. Pan-European organization. Excuse me. Participants, are you hearing me? Say yes. The Council of Europe is the continent's leading human rights organization. The Council of Europe is the continent's leading human rights organization, means European Union for everything. Despite this quite specific qualification at its website, COE, that is the Council of Europe, is a much more than that of it deserves to be mentioned in the chapter as a general organization. It is one of the general organizations which covers the regional area. The 1949 statute of the Council of the Europe mentions as the main aim of the organization, I quote, to achieve a greater unity between its members, means European union members for the purpose of safeguarding and realizing the ideals of the principle which are their common heritage and facilitating their economic and social progress. That is the organization main aim is there. So the statute itself already refers to the privileges and immunities as the organization has combines those of representatives and the staff. So in this main objective only, there will be a privileges and immunities were immersed over there. So purpose of safeguarding and realizing the ideals. Safeguarding means it is immunity and a principle which are common heritage and facilitating their economic and social progress. There would not be any hindrance, impediments for their economic and social progress. The privilege and immunity should be given to them so that they could work anywhere in the world. Of course, when they sent as a members for the investigation or scrutiny or any other means to the member states in that region. That's what I want to say. The Council of Europe, representatives of the members. Here the Council of Europe, who are the representatives of the members, and the Secretariat shall enjoy in the territories of its members such a privilege and immunities are reasonably necessary for the fulfillment of their function. If they want to work without fear or phobia or apprehension, then they should be given the privileges and immunities. These immunities shall include immunity for all representatives to the Consultative Assembly for the arrest and the legal proceedings in the territory of all the members in respect to the words spoken and votes cast in the debates of the Assembly or this committee or commission, which I already shown in the thumbnail only and where I discussed. The same article, however, announces that all this will be further defined in an agreement defining the privileges and immunities to be granted in the territories of all members as well as in the headquarters agreement with the France. So European Union, and they say for the human rights, Strasbourg is there, the center. Participants, are you hearing me? Say yes at least.
Yes, Prof.
Very good. So this resulted in the 1949 General Agreement on the Privileges and Immunities of the Council of Europe, which list under the rules. Then Part 2 deals with the regular immunities in relation to the property and assets. Whatever the property and assets of these agency would be there, that will not be confiscated in any where or any time. That privilege and immunity given to them. Immunity from every form of legal process with a possibility of waiver of the committee of the minister in cases other than the execution of detention of the property. So, of course, if a person is given the waiver, it will be there. Of course, it depends upon him whether to waive it or not, but certain things cannot be waived, like fundamental rights are not. Human rights cannot be waived. So the building and the premises of the council also will be protected because that is the property of these agencies, as well as the archives of the council, that is the Council of Europe, and in the general all documents belonging to it. So they will be protected and thus a privilege will be given to them. And Part 4 and Part 5 deals with the immunities of representatives of the member states to the committee ministers and the consultative members. So, under the Council of Europe, it is very much clearly given in the Part 4, in their charter, Part 4 and Part 5, deals with the immunities of representatives of the member states to the committee of the ministers and to the consultative assembly also. Now the Parliament Assembly is Consulate Assembly, now the Parliament Assembly, representative, all the committee ministers enjoy, and those who are there in the regional offices, the representative and the committee for the ministers, they will definitely enjoy the immunity from a legal process of any kind. That means they cannot be arrested. Even the immunity will be given and the privilege will be given for the high commissioners, ambassadors in other country. You cannot arrest them unless until you take the permission of their own country from where they hail. So for all acts done by them in their official capacity, if they're done in the official capacity, are the immunity from the legal process of every kind. Now you may can ask you, sir, suppose if any ambassador or high commissioner committed an offense on the road where the people are killed, can we take an action against him? Can you send the arrest to him? Rahman, did you understand the question?
Yes, Prof.
An ambassador or the high commissioner on the road, if he has made an accident, can you file a case against him and arrest him? Generally, they keep the local people as their drivers. Am I right?
Yes, Prof.
Because a driver will not come from their own country. For instance, if a person has come from the France in Tanzania, he cannot bring the driver from the Tanzania, from the France. Local staff, if you happen to go any office, especially in the immigration, in the foreign diplomat's office. For instance, if you go to the High Commission of India, now it is very far away at the Tulip Hotel, but now it is on the way going to the Moange to Posta. Very adjacent to there is a High Commissioner office there. If you see them, the sub-staff is only Tanzanians. Only 2 or 3 main officers, they are from India. Like High Commissioner from India or Secretary to the High Commissioner, perhaps they may be India, but the rest of all the members are from Tanzania. Have you been to any High Commissioner office or any diplomatic ambassador's office, either for getting the visa or doing any other work or for the renewal? You don't go to the other embassy, you renew it in your passport. Where do you renew your passport? Rahman?
Yes, Prof.
Where do you renew your passport? Sir, I did not have the passport. Say.
Immigration.
Yes.
Because at the immigration office, because it is an internal. But if I could be outside of Tanzania, I can use the embassy of Tanzania on outside.
My first question,
If you
do you have the passport?
Yes, I have.
Is it an international passport?
Yes, Prof.
Can you fly to the France, England or India?
Must seek for the visa.
Of course. That means it's the international passport. Who issued the passport? Yes. In Monza or in Dar es Salaam?
Dar es Salaam.
It's the headquarters. Of course. Did you take the passport from the Dar es Salaam or from the Monza?
Dar es Salaam.
Personally, you went there?
Yes.
Okay. Why now Monza office will not deliver that thing to you with the Monza? Even the immigration office there in the Monza also. Okay, anyway, that is a facility of the government. Okay, now let us come to the point. For the representative of the assembly, slightly different wording is used as they shall be immune from all official interrogation and from arrest and all legal proceedings. See, they have given no legal proceeding will be made against the ambassador. No legal proceeding can be made by any members of these agencies, including the sub-staff. So, no legal proceedings in the exercise of their functions they could not do, because the Council of Europe has given such a charter, has given the immunity and privilege to them in all activities of their members. So the Council of Europe is the organization in the framework of which the European Convention for the Protection of the Human Rights and Fundamental Freedoms was concluded. Hence, in the light of the European Court of Human Rights, what we have studied in the Strasbourg in France, case law allowing the international organization to maintain their immunities only when there are reasonable alternative means to protect effectively their rights. When they want to protect their only rights, at the time the immunities and privileges could be used, but such immunities and privileges could not be used as a sword. S-W-O-R-D, sword, panga. They can be used, which one? Immunities and privileges can be used as a shield. I don't know what you say, shield in Kiswahili. S-H-I-E-L-D, shield. Sword means panga, P-A-N-G-A. To defend the panga attack, they will use the shield. What do you say in Kiswahili, shield? Raymond.
Gao. Gao.
Spelling?
Saying Gao. N-E-A-O.
Pronounce?
Gao.
Gao.
Yes.
Okay, now what would I have expected to see the specific rule in this? Perhaps reassuring that respect is Article 21 of the General Agreement, which provides for the arbitration in case of any dispute between the Council and private persons regarding the supply of the furnished services rendered or the immovable property purchased on behalf of the Council. Suppose on behalf of the Council, if any furniture is purchased from the individual, yes, they have to pay it. They cannot say, we have the immunity. So, exemptions are there. When they purchase the property from the local people, they have to pay it. Similar rules on litigation between the COE, that is the Council of Europe, and staff members may be found in staff regulations with the administrative tribunals of the Council of the Europe, providing the comprehensive legal protection. So they do have the legal protection as far as their job is concerned or function is concerned. But the other things they have to undergo like a common man, but they have to take the respective government permission before they are going to be file a case against them or arrest them. So the other organization with a pan-Europe scope is the Organization of the Security and Cooperation in the Europe. This is the organization which is say the security and the cooperation in the Europe, as its secretary is based in the Vienna, and but OSCE means Organization of the Security and Cooperation in Europe, which is there in the Vienna, has offices in many other places also. Because not only in the Vienna, the regional places, they do have it in the Warsaw, Prague, and the Hague, and the Copenhagen. So in these places also, they do have their own offices. Which offices? Organization of the Security and Cooperation in the Europe. So these organizations spans the entire northern hemisphere. So one could hardly see it as a regional organization. Of course, it's the branches in the regional organization where they do have the headquartered in the Vienna, but other organizations, other branches office also there. Despite its name, the legal state of the organization is still subject to the political debate. So whether these branches also equally have such a privileges and immunities, because they are also working on behalf of the OSCE, that is the Organization of the Security of the Cooperative Europe, that is called OSCE, and hence they also enjoy the same equal privileges and immunities despite its name. So as the OSCE, that is the Organization of the Security Council, and Europe is started as a conference in the CSCE. It should not come as a surprise that the original 1972 Helsinki Final Act does not refer to the immunities of the organization. The earlier act, which did not save the immunity of the organization, but later on the immunity should be and privilege should be must, because to work in a free and fresh environment without any coercion. So 1993 Rome decision merely recommended that participating states grant and harmonize. So not only they grant and harmonize national legal capacities and privileges and immunities to a particular institution, but not to the OSCE as such. So OSCE is there, organization of the what is OSCE? Just before we told you, Organization of the Security and Cooperative in Europe. Organization of the Security and Cooperative in Europe. They do also enjoy the immunity, but they should not use it as a sword. That is only the condition. And 14 years later, in 2007, convention drafted to regulate the international legal personality, legal capacity, and privileges and immunities of the OSCE still proved a bridge too far. Of course, they are trying to protect it to extend this immunities and privileges for the organization of the Security Council, Security of the Conference of the Europe. So, Council of the Europe. And at the time also the headquarter agreements were concluded. A law adopted in the Netherlands, in The Hague, where the office also, regional office also there in The Hague, in the Netherlands in 2002, concerning the OSCE's High Commissioner on National Minorities based in The Hague provided that. So, even the offices provided in The Hague, in the Netherlands, of the OSCE, that is Organization of the Security and Cooperation in Europe. Organization of the Security and Cooperation in Europe, that is OSCE, there in The Hague. And agreement were concluded, a law adopted in the Netherlands 2002 concerning the Organization of the Security and Council of the Europe, High Commissioners on the National Minorities and based in The Hague, which is there in the Netherlands, provided that, what they said, I quote, for the purpose of this law, the OSCE, that is regarded as equal to public international organization of which a High Commissioner is a part. Of course, sometimes we will say the High Commissioner, sometimes we can say the Ambassador for the diplomatic relations are concerned. Of course, nomenclature is different from country to country. The privilege and immunities included in this law will be applied in the same way as those given under the international organizations based in the Netherlands. So, the equal immunities and privileges should be given even though they are in the branch offices, though not in the Vienna. So, indeed, a legal capacity and privileges and immunities have been regulated in many of the domestic legal orders and participating states. This way only recently followed by the conclusion of the two headquarters agreement, that the OSCE headquarter agreement with the Republic of Austria. The headquarters of the OSCE is there in the Vienna, and other offices also in the different countries, the Prague and the Hague and many other places also in the Europe continent. And the Republic of Austria, another arrangement between the OSCE and the Republic of Poland. Even the agreement would be there with the Poland and the state of the USC in the Republic of Poland also there. So the OSCE having agreement with the other organization, member states in the European, that is the Council of Europe. So, Raymond, are you there, Raymond?
Yes, Prof.
Can you read this which
Yes,
I highlighted?
Finally, another organization that should perhaps be left out from the present overview because of its specific focus, and not so much a lack of pan-European ambitions, 140, is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, 29 members, 141. The reason to nevertheless include it is to its political functions alongside its security objectives. The
Yes, now it's
1946
done. See, North Atlantic Treaty Organization is a bit different. It's enough. So what I want to say is here, this another organization that could perhaps be left out from the present overview of this specific focus because we cannot focus on the North Atlantic Treaty Organization because it deals with a different motion, it deals with a different wing, like nuclear weapons and how it could be, we should not use it, and those aspects are different. So the reason to nevertheless include relates to the political function alongside the security objectives. So security objective, political functions would not come under the Council of Europe. And these things will deal only to the extent of the human rights, number one. Number two, if any international disputes arises among the states of the Council of Europe and they resolve it either in the various other agency where the state is situated over there, from there it can be resolved. So when you are resolving it, there is immunities and privileges given to the agencies also. Which agency? Regional agency. Otherwise, they cannot perform the works under the threat. So that is the actual motto. So these are dealt with, a number of the separate agreements would be there, like Ottawa Agreement is there, and a civilian side in 1952 Paris Protocol is there, and to the NATO Status Forces Agreement is there. There is a state of the force agreement for the military headquarters. And the Ottawa Agreement, where is Ottawa? Yes,
I forget, sir. First one.
Ottawa, if I not be mistaken, it is there in the Canada. I'll show you. Look, let us see, because we cannot make everything remember, no. So Ottawa is the capital city of Canada. So they made an agreement in the different places also. The European Union and the conventions, because it is like a UN convention. The Ottawa Agreement provides the familiar provisions for the organization itself, that is again almost identical to the corresponding clause in the UN conventions. So a corresponding clause in the UN convention would be there where we got that privileges and immunities for the regional agencies. And hence organization is a property and assets whatsoever located and by whomsoever held shall enjoy the immunity from the every form of legal process except insofar any particular case the chairman of the council deputies along the behalf of the organization may expressly authorize the waiver of this immunity. In some cases, the waiver of immunity will come over there because it is not the part of their job. At that instance, if they're doing in the course of the employment, the immunity would be there. If they're doing in their individual capacity, the immunity will be waived. So it is therefore, however, understood that no waiver of immunity shall extend to any measure of execution or detention of property. But in generally, the waiver could not be taken into consideration. For instance, can you waive the human rights? Answer is no. There is no waiver at all because to protect the human from the instinct, from the birth, it is given. It is from the birth it has come. It is from the inception of the human being it has come, and hence it cannot be waived. With regard to the military headquarters, a slightly different approach was taken. The Paris Protocol contains the similar broad immunity from execution, although not from the jurisdiction of the domestic courts. Yes, it depends upon the nature of the domain, nature of the work, how the privileges will work, and we are discussing about only the international dispute, peaceful settlement issues are concerned. Is among the states and those who are the parties to the particular treaties or conventions or the, for instance, Council of Europe, all the members of the Europe, and Arab League, OPEC countries, African continent, everybody will come under it. And then Asia Pacific, Asian all, including India and Japan also comes in the Pan America, all the USA and the other things, including the Canada, if I'm not mistaken, will come under the region. So, no measure of the execution or measure directed to the seizure and attachment of this property or funds shall be taken against the allied headquarters. In other headquarters also there, no measure of execution. Means there will not be any execution or the measure directed to the seizure of the property of the agencies, seizure or attachment of its property or funds shall be taken against any allied headquarters. It will not be taken again because such a privilege will be given to them. So these general agreements are supplemented by the individual headquarters, agreements and worth separate specific status, agreements with the host nations which NATO is active, where the NATO also active in certain respects because it also resolves the international disputes are concerned in their nature with the what motto the NATO is formed. Finally, given the NATO's activities abroad, the status of the immunities of the NATO forces is the subject of the 1951 agreement between the parties to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Those who are the members of that at the time of the 1951, and there they will enjoy such a rights of the immunities. While the SOFA is concerned, and we just before read it, what is the SOFA, and deals with the status of the forces in other member states. Separate agreements are concluded with third state. Each NATO mission operates in those states. So now we saw this. We saw just before the full form of SOFA. I don't know because now also let us check it because why you should have to live with the doubt. What do you say? No doubt at all. Yes, this is also a special organization and it also, like NATO, will enjoy the privileges. So, not soft seat with a back. The SOFA short form is not that is the status of the force agreement. The status of the forces agreement is an agreement between the host country and the foreign nation stationing military forces in that country. If military forces in that country is there, then the SOFA comes, that is the status of force agreement would be there, and so far often included along with the other type of the military agreements as part of the comprehensive security agreement. In the military agreement would be there where the another country's military is stationed in a particular other country, there would be a SOFA, that is the status of forces agreement. So SOFA agreement also will having the same status as we enjoyed in the NATO. So that is the today's class European, that is the Council of Europe, and how they will play an important role in regional agencies also, how for the harmonization of the immunities and the privileges that are should be considered over there, because every immunity and privilege doesn't mean that you can kill anybody of a particular nation if you are a member of the agency. You don't have such a right. Am I right?
Yes, Prof.
Yeah, there is a procedure would be there to be followed, but and as in the course of the employment, if they did it, but at that time the privilege and immunity would be there. Otherwise, it cannot be utilized because other thing like rape is there. It's a personal activity. It's the intention of a person. If murder is there, either voluntarily or involuntarily, depending upon it, how it can be done, because no one can take the law into their own hand. Do you agree?
Yes, Prof.
Suppose somebody has beaten you. Okay, if you're strong enough, you can beat him the equal amount of the force with with the interest also. Suppose if he slapped you, you can make the two slaps. One is the capital, another is the interest. Are you following me?
Yes, yes.
But you cannot take the revolver and shoot at him unless he will shoot you at the time as a self defense. You can shoot him. Otherwise, you cannot do so. Suppose if he's hanging the panga and you hang the revolver and you use the panga to chop your hand, can you shoot at him? Answer: you cannot shoot at him.
Yes.
You can shoot his hand where the panga is there, sword is there. So that he could not use the
The panga with his hand.
either the hand or the panga.
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes, Prof.
Or if he's running, you can shoot at his legs so that he could not come and reach you.
That's it.
If it is far away, if it is very near to it, you can shoot him at the hand or the wrist or the arm, anyway, where this sword is there. That is the proportionate use of the force, but you cannot kill him directly shooting at his forehead. So, these are the things which I want to share to you. And because we are trying to make it out as far as possible, the harmonization and the jurisdiction of the privileges and the immunities of the international dispute settlement system, including the regional agencies. And in the next class, perhaps we can throw light on the ethical and independent issues. What is the ethical values of the international dispute settlement system, including the agencies or organizations, where supranational character of the international dispute settlement would be there, and personal as well as the judges, how it can be made together. So in the next class we will see it. Perhaps we have the next class on Monday, if I not be mistaken. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, what happened to the Dorcas store today, Raymond? You are only the present today.
Dorcas is still at the office.
My goodness. Do they work up to this extent?
Yes.
Because now it is a 9 o'clock. Of course, now the time is going to come 10 because only 5 minutes are left over there. But anyway, it doesn't matter. If you have any problems, we bring to my notice so that I am here to teach you. Because I don't have any other obligations. I don't have Shamba to make Kulima here. Are you following me?
Yes, Prof.
I don't have any BHR business to maintain here. Even I don't have Machumba also because my wife is with me. Are you following?
Yes.
My purpose of staying here is to make you as a mutton shati, like a Asante sana, sikiliza darasa. Mungu akubariki na kukulinda.